Welcome to the Paranormal Bible Podcast.
It's going to be a wild one this week.
This week, prepare for a chilling paranormal probe into two unsettling flash fiction stories. Forget your usual ghost stories.
Yeah.
These tales delve into the dark intersection of personal guilt, ancient curses, and the terrifying consequences of brushes with the afterlife.
Right.
We have two sources for our paranormal probe today: Apparitions of Gethsemane and Lazarus' Shadow.
Ooh, good ones.
Our mission is to dissect these narratives,
Right.
extract the truly hair-raising elements, and understand what makes them so deeply disturbing for you.
It's going to be scary.
We'll be exploring themes of collective guilt, spiritual warfare, and that unsettling concept of a second chance.
Ooh, I don't like second chances.
Think of this as your shortcut to the core of these eerie stories, highlighting those aha moments without getting bogged down.
It's good.
Let's plunge right into our first flash fiction story. Apparitions of Gethsemane. What strikes you about Apparitions of Gethsemane?
What immediately strikes me about Apparitions of Gethsemane is the setting. It's a pilgrimage to a site of immense historical and religious significance.
Oh, okay.
The story throws a diverse group of tourists into this environment,
Right.
a place ripe with existing emotional and spiritual weight.
Uh-huh.
Then, this unnatural sandstorm descends.
Oh, wow.
It's more than just a plot device.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the environment itself is reacting to something, stirring an ancient unease.
Okay.
That unnatural descriptor is key.
Yeah,
It signals we're moving beyond the mundane and into something else.
absolutely. And it's not random chaos. This storm forces them to confront their innermost demons.
Right.
Each tourist experiences these terrifyingly personal visions, right?
Mhm.
Sarah, for instance, is haunted by a past adoption that fell through, a very specific and deeply felt guilt. It makes you wonder, are these external forces at play, or is the intense atmosphere of Gethsemane somehow amplifying their own buried regrets, projecting them outward in this horrifying way?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah,
Is it a haunting of a place or a haunting of the self,
right.
triggered by a specific location? The fact that each vision is tailored to the individual's past suggests a psychological element at play.
Uh-huh.
However, the escalating strangeness,
Mhm.
the shadowy figures, the sand morphing into monstrous shapes, Sarah's physical sensations of being dragged down push us beyond mere internal turmoil. It's as if their guilt is becoming tangible, interacting with the physical world in a terrifying manifestation.
It's a chilling escalation, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have the group's reaction.
Right,
Their guide, Tariq, is trying to maintain control,
Wow.
while Mark offers a more pragmatic, initially skeptical viewpoint, someone you might identify with, perhaps. Then Father Thomas steps in with a spiritual explanation, framing it all as spiritual warfare, drawing on the historical weight of Gethsemane. It sets up this fascinating tension between reason and faith in the face of the inexplicable.
Exactly. Mark's skepticism acts as a grounding force, a voice of reason that makes the eventual breakdown of that reason all the more impactful.
Yeah.
Father Thomas's perspective, on the other hand, offers a framework for understanding events that defy logic.
Okay.
His mention of spiritual warfare introduces the idea of a battleground beyond the physical,
Right.
a conflict between good and evil, perhaps centered on this holy site.
Interesting.
This raises a key question. Are the tourists simply in the wrong place at the wrong time,
Yeah.
caught in a pre-existing spiritual conflict?
And here's where the story takes another turn.
Okay.
When Sarah seems to be physically attacked, Father Thomas recalls the armor of God. It feels almost like a desperate measure, this act of reciting scripture. But then, remarkably, it seems to work.
Really?
The attacks weaken, the shadows recede, and the storm begins to lift. What do you make of that? Is it the power of faith itself?
What's compelling here is the potential interpretation of collective belief as a powerful force, whether it's a literal divine intervention, as Father Thomas might suggest, or whether the unified act of reciting these passages creates a shared psychological resilience, a focused intention that pushes back against their fear, is open to interpretation.
Right.
The narrative presents it as effective, highlighting the potential strength in unity and shared faith when facing the unknown.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder about the power of ritual and belief in moments of extreme crisis.
And then comes the twist right at the end.
Okay.
The news report about the sinkhole uncovering this Crusader-era crypt and the legend of the cursed knight who betrayed Christ in Gethsemane.
Oh, wow.
Tariq's horrified realization, Sarah's renewed distress. It reframes everything.
Yeah.
Suddenly, their personal guilt might have just been the trigger for something much older and much darker.
Oh, that's creepy.
This ending is designed to leave you with a lingering unease. It shifts the source of the horror from purely internal to something external, ancient, and tied to the very fabric of the location. The curse of the Crusader Night provides a tangible historical explanation for the supernatural events, suggesting that the tourists weren't just battling their own demons, but an ancient malevolence tied to Gethsemane itself.
Right.
And that final line about fighting ghosts and becoming them, it adds a chilling layer of foreboding. Their attempts to confront this curse could very well lead to their own corruption or demise.
Yeah, that's scary.
Okay, having grappled with that intense experience in Gethsemane, let's now turn our attention to our second flash fiction story, Lazarus's Shadow.
Okay, let's do it.
This one kicks off with a truly disturbing premise. Lazarus waking up in his own freshly dug grave.
Oh, no.
He's back from the dead inexplicably, and a shadowy figure tells him he has a debt to repay. Whispering voices and all. That's got to be a disorienting way to start your day.
For your second life.
For your second life, absolutely.
Yeah.
The immediate image of resurrection within the confines of a grave is inherently unsettling. It flips the natural order on its head. The introduction of the shadowy figure and the concept of a debt immediately injects a sense of mystery and foreboding.
Yeah.
Who brought him back? What is owed? This sets a very personal and focused horror, a stark contrast to the collective experience and apparitions of Gethsemane. It makes you consider the implications of defying death itself.
Absolutely.
So Lazarus is in the cemetery.
Right.
His memories are hazy, which is understandable given the circumstances, and he's drawn to a headstone with his own name on it.
Oh, wow.
He meets a woman named Sarah who offers him help.
Okay.
A glimmer of humanity in this bizarre situation.
Right.
But he also notices this dark shadow clinging to him.
Oh, no.
It's a powerful visual representation of his connection to death, isn't it?
The hazy memories are a classic narrative tool in stories of resurrection,
Okay.
creating a sense of displacement and uncertainty.
Yeah.
It reinforces the idea that Lazarus's return is not a simple reversal of death. Right. Something has fundamentally changed. The ever-present shadow serves as a constant reminder of his unnatural state and the debt that was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's appearance offers a crucial element of human connection and potential hope in an otherwise bleak and terrifying situation.
Weeks pass, and Lazarus seeks out Marcus, someone who deals with occult matters. Even Marcus, with his supposed expertise, struggles to understand the shadow,
Oh, really?
but confirms it's bad news, hinting at a forced return, leaving these lingering attachments.
Okay.
And Lazarus can sense other faint, shadowy presences too. It's like his resurrection has opened him up to a whole other realm of the paranormal that was previously invisible to him.
Marcus's inability to immediately identify the nature of the shadow amplifies the sense of the unknown.
Right.
The concept of a forced return suggests a violation of the natural order, and these lingering attachments could be the consequences of that violation. Tethers to the realm he was pulled back from. Lazarus's newfound sensitivity to other shadowy presences implies a deepening connection to the spirit world, a potential curse that came with his second chance.
Desperate, Marcus sends Lazarus and Sarah to Estelle,
Okay.
someone with even deeper, perhaps more unconventional knowledge of the occult. Her house is described as filled with all sorts of creepy objects. You immediately get the sense that this is someone who lives and breathes the esoteric, possibly the only one who can unravel Lazarus's predicament.
So what are we talking about? Like dusty taxidermy birds?
Yeah. Cracked leather tomes, jars of unidentifiable substances.
Oh, that's creepy.
The description of Estelle's dwelling immediately establishes an atmosphere of arcane knowledge,
Okay.
and perhaps a touch of the unsettling. It visually signals that they are entering a space where the rules of the natural world might not fully apply, and that Estelle operates within a different understanding of reality, which could be both helpful and potentially dangerous.
Yeah.
And Estelle identifies Lazarus's condition as the mark of the unfinished. This idea that he's bound not just to an entity, but to an echo of the doorway between life and death. That's a potent image, isn't it? She performs a ritual to try and sever the immediate bond with the shadow. It sounds like a step in the right direction, a tangible act to combat this ethereal threat.
The mark of the unfinished is a powerful and ominous designation,
Yeah.
implying that Lazarus's return was incomplete, leaving him in a liminal state, neither fully alive nor fully dead.
Right.
The echo of the doorway suggests a persistent vulnerability, a permanent tear in the fabric of his being that allows these supernatural forces to interact with him. The ritual is a direct attempt to mend that tear, to sever the most immediate and visible manifestation of his condition, the shadow.
But as is often the case in these stories, the relief is short-lived.
Uh-oh.
A mocking voice echoes, telling Lazarus that the mark remains and the darkness will find another way.
Oh, no.
Estelle confirms that the ritual only weakened the connection, like putting a crack in a dam. It highlights the tenacity of whatever brought Lazarus back, doesn't it? It's not easily defeated.
This twist underscores the persistent and malevolent nature of the force at play. The fact that the mark remains, despite Estelle's efforts, signifies a deeper, perhaps irreversible, change within Lazarus.
Yeah.
The metaphor of the crack in the dam is particularly effective, suggesting that while the immediate pressure might have been relieved, the underlying threat is still present and will eventually find a way to break through. The mocking voice adds a personal and taunting dimension to the horror.
Right.
Indicating an intelligence behind Lazarus's torment.
Despite this lingering threat, Lazarus makes a crucial decision.
Okay.
He resolves to fight back.
Good for him.
He's not going to be a passive victim anymore. It suggests a potential transformation, a journey from someone haunted to someone who might become a hunter of the unknown.
Interesting.
The episode ends with Estelle's rather ambiguous statement about hope and the possibility of them all being gloriously doomed. It leaves you on a real cliffhanger.
Oh my gosh.
Wondering what Lazarus' next steps will be and whether their fight is ultimately futile.
Lazarus's decision to actively confront his tormentors marks a significant shift in the narrative. He's no longer just reacting, he's taking agency. However, Estelle's final pronouncement injects a healthy dose of uncertainty, acknowledging the immense challenge they face and the very real possibility of failure.
Right.
Albeit perhaps a spectacular one.
Yeah.
It's a darkly humorous and ultimately unsettling way to end, emphasizing the precariousness of their situation.
So as you've listened to this paranormal probe, what does it all mean for you?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Both apparitions of Gethsemane and Lazarus' shadow delve into how our deepest fears and guilt can manifest in terrifying ways.
Right.
Blurring that line between our own psychology and genuine supernatural events. The first story makes you consider the power of shared belief and whether faith can indeed be a tangible defense against unseen forces, especially when tied to historical trauma.
And Lazarus' shadow presents a different, more personal kind of horror. The potential consequences of tampering with death itself. It forces you to ponder what might linger when someone returns from the other side, and whether certain boundaries should remain unbroken.
Yeah.
Yet, even in that bleak scenario, Lazarus' resolve to fight back offers a sliver of hope against overwhelming odds.
These flash fiction stories, though brief, tap into those primal fears we all have. Betrayal, spiritual darkness, and the ultimate unknown. They leave us contemplating the nature of good and evil, the strength of our beliefs, and the potential price we might pay for second chances or for disturbing what should remain undisturbed.
What resonated most with you during this paranormal probe?
Yeah?
Did the idea of collective guilt and a potentially cursed location in Gethsemane feel more disturbing, or the intensely personal and inescapable haunting in Lazarus' story? We encourage you to delve deeper into these themes. Consider exploring historical accounts of strange occurrences in holy sites or legends surrounding resurrection and its often unsettling consequences.
Thank you for joining us for this week's The Paranormal Bible Podcast.
See you next week.
Rate and follow the show for more captivating stories from the eerie edges of flash fiction.
It's going to be a good one.
Until next time, keep one eye open to the shadows.
Yeah.
Bye.